Let's get right into it. Number 10. The Darryl Dawkins Rule. Darryl Dawkins wasn't just dunking basketballs. He was trying to send them through the Earth's core. Back in 1979, while playing for the Philadelphia 76ers, his dunks were so powerful that he shattered 2 backboards in 3 weeks. The first one exploded like someone threw a brick through a window. Glass rained down everywhere, forcing the game to stop for an hour while they cleaned up and replaced the backboard. 3 weeks later, Dawkins did it again. This time, the glass didn't just break, it disintegrated. It was like watching a car crash in slow motion, except the car was a basketball hoop and Dawkins was a human wrecking ball. The NBA realized that fines weren't the answer. The problem was the equipment. The rims were too rigid, bolted directly to the backboard. It's like trying to bend a steel beam. Something's gotta give. So engineers came up with the breakaway rim. Think of it like those fancy phone cases that absorb shock when you drop your phone. The rim can now flex and bend when someone dunks, then snap back into place. Dawkins even named his dunks, calling them things like the chocolate thunder flying, robinzine crying, teeth shaking, glass breaking, rump roasting, bun toasting, wham bam, glass breaker, I am jam. So now when you see someone throw down a monster dunk and the rim snaps back like a rubber band, you can thank the man who literally broke basketball. Number 9. The Sean Avery Rule. Imagine you're a goalie in the NHL. Your whole job is to track this tiny black puck flying at you at 100 miles per hour. Now imagine some guy stands right in front of you, waves his stick in your face, and starts doing jazz hands. Enter Sean Avery. In 2008, playing for the New York Rangers against the New Jersey Devils, he decided to play a different game. Instead of trying to score goals like a normal person, Avery decided to stand directly in front of Devils goalie Martin Brodeur. He was facing Brodeur, waving his arms and stick around like he was directing traffic at a rave. Screening goalies wasn't new. Players had been standing in front of goalies forever, but they usually faced the play to actually try to score goals. Avery's move was technically legal, but it was like bringing a calculator to a math test in the 1800s. Nobody had thought to ban it because nobody thought someone would actually do it. The NHL was so shocked, they made a new rule the next day. Within 24 hours, they created what became known as the Sean Avery Rule. The rule basically says, you can't stand in front of the goalie and treat him like your personal dance partner. The most incredible part is Avery's team actually scored while he was doing this. His strategy, as annoying as it was, actually worked. Brodeur said, I've been watching games for 20 years and I've never seen anything like that. This guy was so infuriating, he forced a rule change overnight. Number 8. The Martin Brodeur Trapezoid. Imagine being so good at something that they literally had to change the rules of the game just to stop you. This is the story of Martin Brodeur, a goalie who was basically playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. Most goalies back then were like statues with padding. They'd just stand there and try to block shots, but Brodeur turned his entire area into his personal playground. He wasn't just stopping pucks, he was playing them like a third defenseman. When opposing teams would try to dump the puck behind the net, Brodeur would race out there and send it right back. Imagine you're a forward, racing down the ice, thinking you're about to create a scoring chance. But then there's Brodeur, casually collecting the puck behind his net, like he's picking up his morning newspaper. By the time you get there, the puck is already halfway down the ice in the other direction. So the NHL grabbed their rulers and literally redrew the ice. They created this weird trapezoid shape behind the net, like a slice of pizza that got stretched out. Inside this area, goalies can play the puck. Outside of it, that's a penalty. They didn't just change a rule. They physically altered the playing surface. That's like the NBA building a special no-dunking platform, because Shaq was too dominant. The trapezoid is still there today, a permanent reminder that one guy was so effective, they were forced to repaint the ice. Number 7. The Holy Roller Forward Fumble Rule. It's September 10th, 1978. Raiders versus Chargers. The Raiders are down 20-14 with just seconds left. Raiders quarterback Ken Stabler is about to get crushed by a 250-pound linebacker. But instead of taking the sack, Stabler does something wild. He intentionally fumbles the ball forward. The ball bounces around like a drunk penguin. Raiders running back Pete Banaszak sees it and volleyball spikes it further forward. Then tight end Dave Casper kicks it into the end zone like he's playing soccer. Finally, Casper falls on the ball. Touchdown Raiders. The Chargers fans are losing their minds. The refs are just standing there stunned. But at the time, this was completely legal. The Raiders win the game 21-20. The Chargers were so mad they called it the Immaculate Deception. The NFL immediately created a new rule. In the final 2 minutes of either half, Only the player who fumbled can advance the ball. If anyone else on their team recovers it, the ball goes back to where it was fumbled. Years later, Stabler was asked about the play. He just smiled and said, "I fumbled it on purpose." That's like robbing a bank and then going on the news to brag about it. The rule is still in effect today, and every time it comes up, old Chargers fans start twitching. Number 6. The Pat Venditti Rule. Imagine you're playing rock, paper, scissors, but your opponent has 3 arms. That's kind of what baseball felt like when Pat Venditti showed up. This guy could pitch with both arms equally well. Not just throw, but actually pitch at a professional level with either hand. It all came to a head in a 2008 minor league game. Venditta's facing a switch hitter, and what happened next was like a comedy sketch. Venditti switches to his right arm to pitch. The batter switches to bat left-handed. Then Venditti switches to his left arm, so the batter switches to bat right-handed. This went on for several minutes. The umpires had to stop the game and create what's now known as the Pat Venditti Rule. It states that an ambidextrous pitcher has to visually indicate which arm they're going to pitch with before the at-bat. Once they choose, they're stuck with that arm for the whole at-bat. The batter gets one chance to switch sides after the pitcher declares their arm. After that, everyone's locked in. This is the only rule in baseball history named after someone who was still actively playing when it was made. And Venditti had to wear a custom glove with 2 thumb holes so he could switch it between hands quickly. Number 5. The Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Dunk Ban. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was so dominant in college basketball that they changed the rules to stop him. In his first game for UCLA's varsity team, he scored 56 points. The NCAA's solution was simple. They banned dunking in college basketball. They claimed it was to prevent injury and equipment damage. But everyone knew it was because of this 7'2" giant who could drop the ball into the hoop like putting cookies in a jar. But their plan backfired spectacularly. Instead of being stopped, Kareem developed the skyhook. Imagine trying to block a shot from a 7'2" player shooting the ball from behind his head. It became the most unstoppable shot in basketball history. The dunk ban lasted from 1967 to 1976. During that time, no one could figure out how to stop the skyhook. When Kareem reached the NBA, where dunking was allowed, he now had 2 unstoppable weapons. He went on to become the NBA's all-time leading scorer, a record he held for 39 years. Number 4. The Eddie Gaedel Small Person Ban. In 1951, a 3'7" professional performer named Eddie Gaedel walked up to bat for the St. Louis Browns. Baseball had never seen anything like this before. Eddie's strike zone was basically the size of a pizza box. The opposing pitcher stood there confused, trying to figure out how to throw strikes through such a tiny target. The crowd went wild as Eddie crouched down at the plate, making his already tiny strike zone even smaller. His uniform was number 1/8. The pitcher tried his best, but it was like trying to throw a baseball through a mailbox slot from 60 feet away. Eddie walked on 4 straight pitches. He was immediately replaced by a pinch runner, and his MLB career was over. His batting average and on-base percentage? A perfect 1.000. The league president voided his contract the very next day and made a new rule. All player contracts had to be approved by the commissioner's office before anyone could play. The Browns' owner, Bill Veeck, had told Eddie, "If you swing at a pitch, I'll have a sniper in the stands take you out." Eddie later said he believed him. Number 3. The Greg Chappell Underarm Bowling Ban. In 1981, cricket captain Greg Chappell made a decision that would change the sport forever. It's the final ball of a match between Australia and New Zealand. New Zealand needs to hit a 6 to tie the game. Normally in cricket, the ball is bowled over arm, giving the batter a fair chance to hit it. But Greg Chappell tells his brother Trevor to roll the ball along the ground underarm. This meant the New Zealand player had absolutely no chance of hitting that 6. It's like trying to hit a home run when someone rolls the ball to you like they're bowling in a retirement home. The crowd went nuts. The commentators were furious. The Prime Minister of New Zealand called it the most disgusting incident I can recall in the history of cricket. Greg's own brother, who was commentating on the game, said, "No, Greg, no, you can't do that." But it was completely legal at the time. This incident led to the International Cricket Council permanently banning underarm bowling. They basically said, "We shouldn't have to write this down, but apparently we do." Number 2. The Wilt Chamberlain lane widening. Wilt Chamberlain was so dominant in basketball that they had to change the rules just to give everyone else a chance. In the 1960s, Wilt was absolutely destroying everyone. He once scored 100 points in a single game. To put that in perspective, most NBA teams today score around 110 points as an entire team. Wilt would position himself right next to the basket, and because he was 7'1" with incredible strength, No one could stop him. It was like watching a grown adult play basketball with kindergartners. He'd just catch the ball, turn around, and dunk it. So the NBA decided to make the lane wider. They stretched that painted area under the basket from 12 feet to 16 feet wide, trying to pull him further from the hoop. But even after they changed the rules, Wilt kept dominating. He just adapted his game. In the 1961 to 1962 season, he averaged 50.4 points per game. That's not a career-high game. That's a season average. To this day, no one has even come close to breaking that record. That wide painted area under the basket exists because one player was so unstoppable, they had to redesign the court. Number 1. The Submarine Swim Ban. Picture yourself at the 1988 Olympics, watching the 100-meter backstroke final. The race starts, and something weird happens. Most of the swimmers disappear underwater, and they stay there. This was the era of David Berkoff, and he was about to break swimming. Berkoff figured out something crazy. If you stayed underwater and did these powerful dolphin kicks, you could actually go faster than swimming on the surface. Way faster. Berkoff was covering almost half the pool underwater. He'd pop up in the lead while other swimmers were still trying to catch up. It was like he found a cheat code in a video game. Other swimmers started copying him. Suddenly, swimming events looked like submarine warfare. The audience would just stare at an empty pool surface, wondering where everyone went. You buy tickets to watch swimming, and all you see is water. Officials were freaking out. Swimmers were pushing themselves to stay underwater so long, they were nearly passing out. So in 1991, they made a new rule. You can only stay underwater for 15 meters. After that, your head must break the surface. Those markers on the lane lines, 15 meters from each wall, they exist because one guy decided to turn swimming into a submarine game. Berkoff still holds some records from before the rule change. Records that can never be broken because swimming like that is now illegal. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.